Hey everybody, it is Romania Black. We're on episode 9 of Modao Zushi, season 3. Yeah, we're at the 1 month mark. We're at the 4 episode mark. I would be sadder, you know. I'm really sad the Donghua is ending in 4 episodes, this episode and then 3 after that. I am sad about it, but I'm not horrifically sad because there is still so much left in the audio drama, in the novel, that I still have to get through, that I feel like my Modao Zushi journey is not over yet. I still need to watch The Untamed. I'm not done with Modao Zushi, so I'm excited about that. I know a lot of people that have already read the novel, watched The Untamed, and listened to the audio drama are probably sad because, yeah, of course. But this series, oh my gosh. And then last episode, our chaotic gremlin finally getting it, being like, yes, Wanji loves you. He's loved you for a long time. And you're finally getting it. But there's no time to waste on that because things are coming together. Yao is being suspicious. Poor Jishin, I feel for him. He is like Wanji. He's fell head over heels just for not a good guy. And so it's like, oh, Jishin, the guy you fell in love with is not good. Yao is not good. And so we have Jishin going to the city by himself, so I'm a little worried about that. But then we have Wanji and Wushin meeting up with, I'm assuming it's Ning. I saw the chains, so I'm assuming it's Ning. So I don't know what to expect with this episode, but all I know is that some people on Patreon this morning, because I usually watch these episodes, I know they come out like at midnight in China, midnight our time in the US, but usually I'll watch it Sunday night is when I watch Modao Zushi, the new episodes, because it's the end of the weekend. It's just nice to sit down. But as soon as people on Patreon in the Discord this morning were like, yeah, episode 9, I was like, I need to watch this now. So I finally got around to it this evening to watch it, and I'm pretty excited. But that's all I know. I was told by a fellow patron to stay off of Twitter today. So unless I got like a notification on Twitter, I've stayed off of Twitter. So I don't know. They were just like, everybody's going crazy. If it makes everybody feel better, I know some people kind of freak out in the comments when somebody hypes up an episode and they're like, oh, episode 9's my favorite, or episode 8's my favorite. I don't usually get hyped about episodes when people do that because everybody has their favorites. And if shows like Attack on Titan have taught me anything, all of our favorites are very subjective. So usually the episodes that I think are favorites are not always other people's favorites. So it's kind of vice versa. So I try not to get too hyped up when people say it's their favorite episode or that it's an awesome episode, because if I get myself hyped up, then I end up, being let down. So I try not to do that. So, but I'm pretty excited because I want to see this episode and find out. Last episode, episode 7 ended on an insane cliffhanger. And then this last episode ended with like, we need more. So I'm a little sad. It's still 23 minutes. Come on, show. The last 2 episodes better be 30 minutes, darn it. I wonder if they've shortened the episodes because they're going to dub them over in Japanese later, and the Japanese dub doesn't allow for that extra time. I don't know. But we've had longer episodes this season, so that's clearly not the case. But in any case, we shall see. So let's do this, shall we? I rewatched episode 8 right before watching this one because I needed to go back. It'd been a week, so I was like, I need to go back and that moment where Wushin figures it all out is still so hilarious. I love it so much. But all right, let's do this, shall we? We are going to start episode 9 of Modao Zushi season 3 here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh. Our boys look so good in red. They look so good in red. Ooh! Is this like... I don't know Chinese fictional tropes. I don't know Chinese culture well at all, but I'm like, is that wedding colors? Are they in wedding colors? Is this like wedding garments? Is this a metaphor for that? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? There was so much in this. I felt like this episode, it was like things were all coming together. It's all coming to a head. I didn't expect it to come like this at all. But, okay, there are some things that were pointed out in this episode that I don't know how I've watched this entire series and it's not hit me until this episode. And I was like, wait a minute. And I kept trying to find a place to talk about it, and there was so much happening, there was no room for it. Yuan is Sijui. Isn't it? Isn't it? It didn't hit me until I was watching the episode and saw him at the table with them, and I was like, the bangs! The bangs! And then we saw Sijui, and I'm like, wait! And all this episode was about going back home and them saying if Yuan was alive, he'd be in his teens. And Sijui's in his teens, and he's older than the other ones. It's him. So, if you're telling me that Wanji took in, is that why he has the scars? Is that why Wanji endured the scars and the branding? Because he took Sijui in as a land clan member? He saved him from dying from the winds? That he's a wind that was taken in and raised as a land? Is he Wushin Wanji's son? It would all make sense. Oh my god. It hit me this episode. I was like, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. If it's true, because he's like a perfect mixture of Wanji and Wushin. Y'all, I don't know how that's gone over my head this entire series, but it suddenly just hit this episode, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, which it's not been confirmed yet, but they brought it up. So I'm like, are they just... And Sijui's always been on Wushin and Wanji's side. There were so many moments in this episode that were so heartfelt. I was like, I'm gonna just explode. Like, especially Ning. Precious zombie Ning being the most adorable, badass zombie ever. When he was clutching King's grave marker, nah. And Wushin just feeling so bad because I hope that if Sijui is Yuan, that Wanji tells him when this is all said and done, he's like, hey, by the way, he's not dead. Here he is. We just, can't tell him. But damn, and QIREN supporting them, QIREN being like, this is the way it should be. It's like, And then our boys, they're becoming lures, just literal straight up lures, and just being like cloaked in the blood and everything and turning red. Like, Wushin looks great in red. Wanji is surprisingly good in red too, even though his eyes are like amber. I can see why Twitter might be abuzz about this. And I need to go get on Twitter after this to see what the heck's going on, to see what all the hubbub is about, because I'm sure that there's some like Chinese representation or something, and people are like, because when they said people were freaking out, I'm like, okay, so I need to go see this now. I'm so intrigued. But there's a lot that happened this episode. A lot went down, and especially with Sushi. Holy crap. So yeah, and Huiseng, oh buddy, Huiseng is gonna try to kill Yao, right? Or at least lead to his undoing. Am I right? I think so, because I think manifest. Oh my god. They said episode 8, but it's episode 9. It must be a typo in the subtitles. But, okay. So yeah, getting Ning to come out. And I love that Ning's whole thing was that he just wanted to scare the villagers away so that they wouldn't be there when the corpses came. I love Ning so much. He's our cinnamon roll zombie. And I can't believe that I speculated for like a week. I was just speculating at work and stuff, being like, I wonder what those antlers are. And they're not antlers. They're just twigs and leaves. Should have seen it coming. But, bless his bones. So there's a tie to Modazushi Q in this. There's a tie back to Modazushi Q when they're eating where they're at the table. Oh god, they're at the inn. And it's calling back to when Wanji paid for Wushin's meal. And Wushin's like, I wanted to pay, but you wouldn't let me. And then in Modazushi Q, little baby Yuan says that he called Wanji the dad and Wushin the mom. But in this, he says rich brother and poor brother. And it's like, okay, sure, censors, we'll go with that. They're both your dads, we understand. But yeah, the moment I saw that little bang, I was like, wait a minute. And then it just hit me. And Wushin patting his head. Oh my god. And then I just want Wushin to know that Yuan's still alive. Oh my god, I just want him to know. And then Ning knows he's sad. He's like, if you were still alive, he would be in his teens now. And that's what I was like, wait, no! And so I'm wondering if that's really why Wanji has the scars, is because QIREN was like, you can't take in this wind child. It's forbidden. And he's like, I'm doing it. And he's like, I'll atone for my sins. And then branded himself and gave him scars and the whips and everything. But him looking through the burial mound stuff and saying the tomb of Wind King. And it's so sad because she was cremated, so there's not really a tomb there. And him clutching the damn thing and Wushin placing the hand on his shoulder. Show, we didn't need this. We didn't need this pain. We didn't need this pain of him remembering back to the burial grounds and little Yuan and his grandmother with the toy and everything. We didn't need that, Show. Why'd you give us that pain? No one asked for that. And it's so sad because then everybody shows up. Of course, everybody like went to the burial grounds thinking that the Yiling Patriarch would be there and they were going to ambush him, and they got stuck with the corpses. And Chang and everything. And then, of course, Chang's after Ning mainly and protecting baby Ling. And, of course, well, the reason why Chang is there is because Ling was in the cave because Sushi and them, they all got kidnapped. But it wasn't by... I'm sure it was by Yao. It was not by the Yiling Patriarch. So it's like, where's Yao in all this? We know where Xixin is. And they're all, of course, all looking for their people that have been kidnapped. Yeah, it's like everybody comes to a head here of all places. And Huiseng. Let's talk about Huiseng. And that green spider on the web. Yeah, the green spider on the web. Let's talk about that. So, Huiseng is acting just as much as Yao and just as much as Sushi. But I think Huiseng is on Wushin's side because they grew up together and they were friends. And Huiseng and Wushin always were on good terms with one another. And so I think that Huiseng has finally realized that there is... I wonder if Huiseng has always suspected that Yao killed his brother. I wonder if he's always suspected that, but he didn't have anything concrete enough to use to try to convict him. And now that Wushin's back and Huiseng knows it, he might be like, hey, Wushin's a smart person. We can figure this out and turn it around. We need to expose Sushi and Yao. We need to expose the two snakes in the grass. And Huiseng's a good actor, too. He's like, I'll act like a good for nothing if it saves me. And so he's like, I want to get vengeance for my brother. I know that Yao did it. I believe Wushin. I know he wouldn't lie. And so now it's like, how do I get to Yao and get revenge? And Sushi took him away. So my question is Sushi taking him back to Yao? What do we do with that? We said that Huiseng was guarding the Ni brothers' corpse. Well, if Huiseng's there, who's guarding the Ni brothers' corpse other than like Xixin's men? But who else? And Huiseng, there were so many moments in this episode where Huiseng was like, yeah, oh wow, that's a great point, Wushin. Wow, way to bring that up. Who knew? It's like Huiseng knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And him trying to poke and prod things along to benefit Wushin. I'm like, you want revenge on Yao, and you found a way now to get it. And it's like, oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. It took me a second to realize that it was Sushi, though. It's the eyebrows. The eyebrows are the only giveaway. I feel bad for baby Ling. Because it's like his own clan members, Ling's own clan members, are so mean to him. It's like calling him an orphan and everything. It's like, his dad was your leader's son. His dad is the brother of your current leader. What the hell? Why are you so mean to him? It's like, I just want Chang to beat them all up. Darn it. And then, of course, yeah, as soon as I saw those bangs, I'm like, oh my god, Zishui is Aoyuan. It's just him grown up. And he's like the perfect combo of Wushin and Wanji. My mind is blown. I'm like 99.9% sure that that's him. And that Wanji took him in honor of Wushin because Wushin loved him. But yeah. And so I love that Wushin still is a troll. And he's like, oh, you found out I was going to turn you into corpses. Great, good deal. Mind you, this might hurt a bit. And then he lets them all go. I love it. I absolutely love it. But the twist the twist of that Sushi got the page out of the songbook. It's amazing. So it was Sushi that got the page out of the book. It was Sushi, and that's not all that he took. He not only got the song to help Yao, he got a song that would help like cut off the spirit energy of those who played it around so that they could blame it on Wushin. It's like all the bad things that's been happening, they're going to blame it on Wushin. And the point where Wushin pats his head, it's Yan. Damn. Baby Ling, you've got competition because now Wushin's kid's back, potentially in the picture. This was all so good of Sushi trying to pin everything on Wushin, because that's all that him and Yao want to do. They want to pin everything bad on Wushin. And even to the point where they're blaming him for stuff that happened while he was dead. It's like, dudes, he was dead. He hasn't done any of these bad things. He wasn't around. It was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And I like that in this moment, you see Ling kind of in the shadows, and Chang tells him to get back over there. And that shadow is a great representation of like baby Ling's doubt. Like the doubt he has, like he feels guilty because he stabbed Wushin. And now he feels doubtful because he can probably agree with Sishui and Jingyi that Wushin's in the right. And so it's like all this conflicting things that he's dealt with his entire life are like bubbling to the surface. And QIREN knows that Wanji loves Wushin, doesn't he? He knows. Because the whole time he's like, because Wanji didn't tell QIREN about Wushin before, right? And QIREN's figuring all this out. And he's like, oh, damn, I know how my brother is. He fell in love with somebody and that was it. And even the other kids are like, no, it's true. And they're like, this is no place for a child to speak up. It's like the kids know what they're talking about. It's, and then the Yiling Patriarch saving others, ridiculous. That line is so awful. And they keep bringing up all the bad things that happened in his past. And it's like, dude. And then of course, Sushi is the one that like keeps pointing the finger like right at the screen and blaming him for all these past atrocities. And Wushin's like, I wasn't there. You don't have proof. I'm too busy to do all that. And then, yeah, the Nevernight City and Gyeonggi Road. But Wanji has done his research, and he's spent years and years trying to prove Wushin's innocence. And he's found out all this information, too, that he brings up. And I hate when they start to slander Wanji and question his credibility. And it's like, Wanji's the most credible person in the room. Like, he doesn't lie. He only speaks the truth. And yeah, he's partial towards Wushin. He loves him. But he's a man of justice. And I like that QIREN looks back at Wushin in that moment. Like, when they're accusing him. And then we get the shot of all four clans. And so, in that moment, it was Chang and Daddy Jin and QIREN and the Ni brother that were up against him when he killed himself. I hate that Chang was there. That makes me so frustrated. It's like, dude. But for a second, I thought Wanji was taking off the forehead ribbon because we see it flutter in the breeze, but it wasn't. It was him standing in front to defend him. And it's like all those years ago, Wushin didn't have anybody to defend him because he shut Wanji away. And now Wanji's like, nah, I'm going to defend you. You can't turn me away. And Wanji's like, years have passed and there's still proof that I'm right. And then we go all the way back to everything. And so, yeah, the whole curse and everything, them trying to prove that it's, and he just basically glosses over everything that's been going on throughout the last 3 seasons that they've been researching and looking for the same symbol over and over again. The one that's been causing all the tiger amulet to cue all this spirit energy and disturb the mind of the holder. Yep. And yeah, Huiseng just casually pointing that out. He was like, wow, so it seems like somebody was manipulating the tiger amulet to like act against its owner. Isn't that funny? And like puts the fan in front of his face. And it's like, oh, you know what you're doing, Huiseng. Oh my God. And then Sushi calling out Wanji and his credibility as being a joke. And then Wushin just slams it right back at him. He's like, well, we just gave you proof and you denied it. So what do you want from us? It's like, mm-hmm. And then and Sushi kind of digs himself into a hole. He's like, who, I wonder who said the ghost general was already destroyed. Was it you? And he looks around, it's like, it was him. I love it. I love it. And then going back to the whole thing with them doing the song, and it's like Sushi was just called out in this episode, straight up called out. And I'm like, finally, it's all coming together. So I'm fully convinced at this point that Sushi was the one in the flashback with Daddy Jin that was helping him. And I'm sure that Sushi could get into the Land Clan and get into their resources easily to get whatever Daddy Jin wanted to help further whatever agenda they were doing at the time. So fully convinced that that's Sushi. And Sushi and Yao are working together. Fully convinced. Fully convinced that Hui Sang is like, how do I get back at these guys? And so he's kind of exploiting Wushin a little bit, but interesting. And then Wushin's just like, I didn't take anybody's spirit energy. What are we doing? But then Sishui's like, I've got mine though. So, oh man, I want to get into the cave. Yeah, and Hui Sang, as soon as Wushin says that there's an array in there, Hui Sang goes in and he's like, gonna check it out, and confirms it. So, I'm convinced Hui Sang is on Wushin's side, but he really is just trying to get to Yao. And so, yeah, then they all get trapped in the cave, ironically enough, back to where season 2 where we were. And then, yeah, I love that Wanji uses the silencing spell on Sushi. It's like, thank you. Thank you so much. It was like, that needed to happen. I love it. And they get mad because they're like, well, Wanji's not letting people talk. And Sishui's like, well, it's because he's not speaking out of turn and he's not being reasonable. Ha! And then, yeah, Wushin didn't realize that was Sushi. And he's like, oh, it's him. And it all comes together. He knew the land fighting style. He was the ninja. It's great. It's so great. And we get to think about the Book of Turmoil. Everything all comes together. And then Wushin's like, yeah, you tried to pin this whole thing on me to make sure it looked absolutely like it was the Yiling Patriarch's fault. And then, oh man, and he tries to get out of it, but he's like, if you won't admit it, it's fine. Here's the page that Yao took and hid in his secret room. It's right here. And then QIREN seeing it, that's all the proof he needed. Like, that's QIREN's one thing is when you have resounding proof like that, it's great. I love it. And then, yeah, he cut open and everybody saw the scars and the whole curse. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love that it's all coming together. And Hui Sang's helping too. I love this. I love this. We've got 3 more episodes left. So next episode, I'm assuming whatever the hell we're doing with them in red, that's going down. And then Sushi took off with Hui Sang, but I'm not sure if that was a great idea because I think Hui Sang wants to get taken to Yao. So that's going to happen. Where is Big Brother Knee's corpse? Is it still safe or is it running amok? How are we getting out of this? Are we going to find out about Sishui being actually Yuan? Is that all coming out? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, the corpse is all coming in. I want to see what this is. So this part was a little bit confusing, so I want to go back to it and see what the heck's going on. Like, Knee's battling them. Yes, Knee's battling them. All the people go in the cave. And then Sushi's trying to escape. Not Sishui. Sushi's trying to escape, and Wanji's trying to cut him off. And it's not working. And then he grabs Hui Sang and uses him as a shield. And of course, Wanji's not going to hurt Hui Sang. And then Sushi takes off with him out the hole. But Wushin leaves the tracer on him. So Wushin leave the tracer, so he's going to go look for him later. So it's like the marker so they can go find him. Yes! Good. Good, good, good. But I'm so intrigued. And then, yeah, we're back to that bloody lake. Oh my gosh. And so then I want to get to... Yeah, Ghost General will assist you. I love that Sishui and Jingyi are assisting Ning. That's awesome. I love it so much. And then Wanji using that zither and just playing it. Oh, the animation was so good. So good, so good. But yeah. Yeah. Wushin just getting up to that spot and him being like, okay, I could use this. I could use resentful energy. I can use all of this and get the corpses lured over to us. And then, oh man, that shot of Chang trying to protect Ling. And then the two land boys back to back. Like, there's just too many corpses. And they're all still coming in the entrance. And they could get out, but they need to, like, lure the zombies to them first. And I love he's like, there's something I want to do. And Wanji says, I'll do it with you. Oh! Oh, they're knowing smiles at each other. Oh my gosh. And then, yeah, he gets all the zombies' attention. It's kind of like a spirit lure. Like an array. And he's luring them all over to them. Oh my gosh. And it's like, it's a giant spirit lure. Yeah, like a lure flag. And then all of the water and stuff starts rising out of the lake. The spirit lure flag. Oh my gosh. And he has the blood. Oh my gosh. Ah! This is the only method left to lure the corpses away. And they're using their own flesh as bait. They won't die though. And then I love that Jingyi says, use us too. We'll help you get the target. And then Wushin's like, no, be good now. Oh, save your energy and escort everyone back. And they're like, Wanji. Oh. And he gives a little bow. Like everything's gonna be cool. And then I'm sorry, but QIREN like clenching the fist and being like, this is how it should be. It's like, ah! Uncle approves. He's given his blessing. Oh my god. I cannot. And then, yeah. Take the blood of the living as a sacrifice. Because he used his own blood. And then basically the lure flag. Like, they become the lure flag, right? And making all the robes red. Oh my gosh. Which it's funny. It kind of looks like, it's like the wind colors. It's funny that. I'm sorry. Well, Wushin looks amazing in red, but Wanji, it seems so out of place, but it's also fine. And then they all go towards them. Oh, man. I'm like, what are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna do? Everything happened so fast this episode. It feels like everything is starting to spiral towards the climax because we've got episodes 10, 11, and 12. We've got 3 episodes left. And you know episode 12 is probably going to be an aftermath episode of everything that happened afterwards. So we really have 2 more episodes for shit to go down. I need to research the significance of the red and of them being together. I mean, obviously it's significant, but I need to research this on Twitter without spoilers, of course. But y'all, oh my god, this is great. But I was really excited for this episode, but I am 1,000 times more excited for next episode because I'm like, how are they luring the zombies out? How are they getting out of this mess? Are the robes gonna stay red for the rest of the series? Is Sushi going to meet up with Yao? He's taking Wei Sing with him. Where's Brother Knee's corpse? Is Jishin going into the city where the temple is? And that's where is Yao gonna confront him there? Is Sushi and Yao gonna confront him there? What's happening? Is he gonna play the song on himself and realize that Yao's to blame? Is Chang and Ling gonna make up with Wushin? It seems very reminiscent. This whole thing seems reminiscent of the cave scene when Wushin told them to go. And Chang was like, damn it, I'll leave you guys alone in the cave. Is everybody going to leave Wushin and Wanji alone in the cave with the zombies? And then after they defeat the zombies, they're going to be alone in the cave? And can you tell I'm excited for the novel? Can you tell? Because I am. I'm so curious to know your thoughts down below. Please don't spoil me, but I feel like I'm right about Sejui, but don't spoil me. I feel like I'm 99.9% right. I just need to know like the circumstances of how and what happened. And I'm so excited to see what's going to happen with Yao, with Wei Sang, with Sushi, with Chang, with Baby Ling, with everybody. I'm so excited. I have to wait a damn week. A damn week! Whatever. In the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe and take care. And yeah, I'll be back next week. Oh my God, with episode 10. Episode 10. How are we already there? Episode 10 of Modao Zushi. Bye.